sweet souls. How are you? It's your Forest Fairy here. Nice to see you, and welcome to Forest Fairy Tarot. Well, it's up and running. It's taken me a minute to get this channel up and running. It started with this table. This table was gifted to me by my parents, from my parents, and I say by, but from them. And this is very special. It's a magical table. Reason being is because it's always been in my life. I remember specifically touching the bark right here and making wishes and talking to the fairies, the forest fairies from which this came from. It was always told to be by my father that it was going to be given to my mother. And so when they gifted it to me in 2020, it was a shock, a surprise, and really did bring a tear to my eye. Now, I do have to say that it combines the generation that made me. It was gifted to me from my parents and my children, who helped sand it down and varnish with my father, with their grandfather. And so it's special because it takes the generation that created me and the generation I created and really brought all three generations together. The stones that will always be here, my heart stones, they've come from all over the world. I've collected them for years. The feathers my children have found here in the 100-acre woods and give me feathers, telling me that they're messages. So this is a beautiful starting point for my tarot reads. Now, I've been reading cards since I was in my late teens, early 20s. And in cleaning up and I was actually putting in wooden steps going downstairs. And so in order to drill the steps, I had to clean out underneath the steps to do the work. And in doing so, my children came across a bin full of tarot decks. What are these? What are these? What are these? And I started explaining about the tarot, about how I would read cards, how I'd save these cards, and how they tell stories, and what each card means. Now, with that, they would remember. Before we moved out to the 100-acre woods, we lived in the city, and we would take the bus. I was a stay-at-home mom. I made many sacrifices, one of them being that I didn't have a vehicle, and we took the bus. And I had to wait for the bus with these little guys, my children, as they were very young, under school age. And in doing so, I told them stories, many, many, many stories that they remember. And so, tell us a story, Mom. They'd say, tell us a story. And so I'm a natural-born storyteller, and so I've been telling stories, whether it be in my head or aloud, and it took me a long time to be able to speak these stories aloud. I would read the cards. They got the cards out. I started reading on this table, but quietly in my head, as I was cooking a meal here, cleaning up there, doing whatever, and I would come back to the table and continue my story, but never really speaking aloud. And then I started speaking aloud. They helped me get the setup, use a tripod, and if it wasn't for them, this would not. And they kept saying, Mom, you got to go on YouTube. You got to see. You got to channel. I was tech free. They grew up tech free. We did not have cable, satellite. We did not have the internet. We did not have Netflix. I did have DVDs, and I then controlled what came into the house. Back in when they were very little, it was things like Max and Ruby and Backyardigans, and they love stories, really good stories. They're also readers. They read a lot of books, and they have their favorite authors, and they discuss about plot lines and this. Again, we were not tech people. So this has been really pushing me through the fear of, I've never put the children online. I've never posted their images. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that with myself. And they said, Mom, just use your hands, right? Mom, read the cards, tell the stories. And so they encouraged me. And it's taken years, but here I am, finally launching. And from this day forward, I will upload every single day. They have helped me. They have inspired me, as well as my parents, who really believe in this channel. They all do. And now I do too. So, I just want you guys to know that each one of you has talents that you may not be aware of, have skills that you can develop. I haven't read tarot in years. I was a stay-at-home mom raising the babies. And it was those babies that then said, tell the stories, read the cards. Now with every card deck, I feel the energies of those cards through the images, through the colors, through the design, even the way they shuffle. I feel the intent of the designer, of the illustrator, of the writer, I read the guidebooks. I love the guidebooks. And some decks don't have them. And I still feel the intent. So I read the cards, but I also read the energies. Things that I've always done and just thought, that's just everyone. And yes, everyone can read energies. I am dyslexic, so I can't really read words as easily as I can read images, as I can read music, because I'm a pianist. And so, when I see a story with each card laid out, it comes together, and then the clarifiers deepen the meaning, deepen the story, so that you, the viewer, my sweet souls, can resonate with the stories. Maybe it speaks to you. And if it doesn't, it's okay. There'll be another story the next day. It's all good. But listen to what it is that you hear, that you see. And with that, it will inspire you, as my children inspired me, to be your best, to find your talents, your skills, for your soul's purpose on this earth. I'm a natural born storyteller. I read cards. I read energies. And here I am to share with you my stories for the collective, to bring you away from the programming and the stories that the powers that be want you to believe, to stay at a low frequency, to stay in fear. And I would like to bring you into, it's a harder road, into that of love. Unconditional. Unconditional love for yourself. Unconditional love for those around you. Every single person you meet is a soul. To see them and treat them as you would want to be treated, and that is with love and respect. Kindness. Kindness, I assumed, was told, was programmed as a weakness. Now, I see my kindness, my willingness to share my stories, not be afraid. I've walked through that fear into unconditional love, which is fearlessness, to love and to love everyone that I meet, that I come across, with the same kindness that I would want them to give me. Now, that's what this channel's about. And that's what I'm giving you. As my grandmother would say, it's not a gift unless you give it. So I'm giving you my stories. I'm giving you my insights. And as I grow, as I get more information, as I download more cosmic information, I'm sharing it with you through my cards. Through the cards that speak to me and that will help me speak to you. So with that, I welcome you to Forest Fairy Tarot, and I'm sure I'll see you again. Take care from your Forest Fairy. Bye for now.